Hello, everyone. Welcome to Gameweek 13 FPL podcast episode number 14. Today, it's only me. So we are going to be going through a lot of discussion surrounding the likes of Ben Chilwell, who just got injured. We're not sure how long the injury is for, but we will be speaking about that, and in terms of who else we could probably look into. Just adjusting my camera settings slightly. There we go. Much better. Okay, that's better, I think. Alright, let's get started. So, FPL Gameweek 13 Wildcard podcast, not Wildcard podcast, FPL Gameweek 13 podcast, episode number 14. The agenda for today. So, we'll look at the season ticker, we'll look at Chilwell, and some options as well into maybe someone else that you can get if you want to. Antonio and the discussion surrounding about him. He's not scored in the last 3 game weeks. Few more tough fixtures coming up. Should we replace him? If so, for who? Phil Foden, also for a few misses in the last few game weeks, although he's had these chances but just hasn't been able to convert them. So we'll be talking about him as well, what to do. Game week 13 fixtures, we'll be looking into them. We'll look into my team, and then we'll go price changes and the combined managers panel team. So having said all of that, let's get started. Now, we've got 10 game weeks in about 40, at this moment a bit less than 40 days, I think. So 10 game weeks in 40 days. So that's basically the entire Christmas schedule, and I've basically put those 10 game weeks right here. So now within that space, within those 40 days, Spurs are right on top of the fixture ticker, followed by United, City, Crystal Palace, Burnley and Liverpool. Now the bottom teams are Wolves, Newcastle, Leeds, Brighton, Watford and Southampton. So we do have players both at the top and the bottom. A lot of people are looking to get Spurs players. Some have already got a Kane or a Son. Some are still unsure. Spurs weren't very convincing as well in their recent game. I watched the highlights as well. And I was like, it's not very convincing performance. To be honest, their defense also wasn't that great because there was a lot of shots that they were conceding. And I wasn't really convinced by their defense, if I was to be honest. I know Antonio Conte is going to improve their defense, but it feels like it's going to take a long time. The Chelsea team that Conte did inherit was a significantly better team. So obviously, this one is not as on par, so it's going to take more time. I think the hype around Spurs was probably not justified because it showed in their stats. The stats weren't great for both attacking and defensive. So kind of is showing in the performances right now, but I'm sure they will get better. And the next few fixtures are kind of like you could hop on Spurs players. It could benefit you, but it doesn't also hurt to kind of like wait for one more game week against Burnley and see what happens. But I wouldn't put you off from actually bringing at least one Spurs player ahead of Burnley as well, because Burnley haven't been great defensively. Following that is United, who are second on the fixture list. Now, United have changed or have sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but the coaching stuff still remains. So I wouldn't, because of that main reason, I wouldn't expect too much of a difference. Obviously, they played Villarreal. It wasn't the most convincing performance. I watched that game. As a United fan, I thought the first half wasn't that great. It was more of the same compared to under Ole. The second half, however, was a bit better. Obviously, a bit lucky with the first goal. Sancho took his goal as well, really well. He had a chance before that as well to score a goal. So he could potentially be an option at 8.9 million. However, the Chelsea game is upcoming, kind of gives us a better idea in terms of like to kind of see what this United team are all about against Chelsea, who are flying really high. And obviously, they have lost Chilwell. We'll speak about that as well next. But it's kind of a good test for them, for this United team, to see whether it's still the same. Yes, it's still the same thing and the same tactics, same style of play, no idea what they're doing. So all of that has to be considered. Obviously, there are a huge amount of rumors going around with Pochettino being linked and possibly coming before the Arsenal game. So maybe that could improve things, but we'll see. I think going ahead, probably from Norwich onwards, unless United happen to pick up the pace, then you could probably look into Arsenal or Crystal Palace even. But probably at Norwich would be a really good time to bring in some United players. So until then, we have some time to kind of like analyze the situation under this new United, not new United, but like a change of management. So we'll see what happens, see how it goes. Man City now, Cancelo keeps delivering, man. Like those wing backs they keep on delivering. Like Cancelo, Trent, Rich James, all keep on delivering. But it's further forward that we have the questions where Phil Foden, people got him after his points return. I've had him from a bit more earlier, so I had his points return and I benefited from it. But recently, he hasn't been getting the points. He's been playing more left than in the false nine position, and I would put that down mainly towards a tactical reason. Pep Guardiola likes to be very tactical about his players. Against United, he played Foden on the left, mainly because United played a back five, and because of that, he wanted to stretch United's back five and put Foden on the left, therefore creating more space in the middle for the rest of the players. So that was a tactical decision. Against Everton, he was mainly put on the left to get him behind, and Foden had chances. It's not like he didn't have chances. He was expected. I expected him to have reduced minutes against the Everton game because they have PSG upcoming. But I'm not too worried about Foden right now. I think we can keep Foden. They've got really good fixtures upcoming. Now, if you want to look at another player, we'll have a look later down. We'll have a look at a few City options. In terms of if you don't want Foden or if you don't own Foden, do you really want to be getting in Foden now, or are there anyone else that you can look into? We'll have a look into that as well. Next up is Crystal Palace. Now, Crystal Palace have been doing well. Obviously, the last game wasn't great from a defensive perspective. Considered 3 goals, especially for new Guaita owners like myself. I did not expect that. However, I'm still not worried. Under Patrick Vieira, they are doing really well. Gallagher still continued his returns with an assist. Benteke keeps on he's sticking along, getting those goals, but there are questions amongst whether he will continue to perform, whether he'll continue to get game time, because Eduardo is also there and he was a bit injured recently, so that's why he didn't take much. But when both are fit and firing, then it's a question to see who Vieira goes for first of all. So bit put off from Benteke because of that reason, but I think he's a really good option, especially with people not sure what to do with Antonio right now. And we don't really have many strikers who are performing. So there's a lot of questions around that as well. Burnley, Cornet doing pretty decent. Apart from that, I don't really see anyone else. Liverpool, Salah continues to dominate. Trent continues to dominate. Diego Jota could be an option. So we'll look at all of this as well. But today, the main thing that I want to talk about is, at least for this section, is Ben Chilwell. So Ben Chilwell picked up an injury in Chelsea's Champions League tie against Juventus. It didn't look great. So I'm not sure what's the extent of his injury. We'll have to wait and see on that. Obviously, Tuchel also wasn't that optimistic, so we'll have to wait and see what the extent of Chilwell's injury is. I have Chilwell, and me personally, I'm going to hold until the press conference. And if Tuchel says that it's just one game that he is going to be out for, I'm completely fine with benching Chilwell for just one game. It's United anyways. Maybe United possibly, this United possibly maybe could get a goal against Chelsea. We don't know. But I'm not too worried. Because of the fact that it's United, I'm not too worried. Obviously, United defensively have been really poor. But United have been defensively really poor, mostly on their left-hand side, which is Reece James' right-hand side, and not really Chilwell's. So I'm not too worried about that. If Chilwell is missing, if Chilwell is fit, I'll probably start Chilwell, to be honest, with the Chelsea double up. If they consider goal, well, it's unlucky. If they don't consider goal, they possibly keep a clean sheet. Chilwell possibly gets maybe an attack in return, and not too worried about that. But there might be managers who made the early transfer, got in Chilwell. If you're one of those managers, don't take a hit to get Chilwell out. Just keep him. Wait for the press conference. Let's see what Tuchel says. If Tuchel says he's going to be out for a few weeks, if he's out for a few weeks, then you get rid, because few weeks are quite a few game weeks here. It's just not like, it's like about 4 to 5, 6 game weeks possibly. So if he's out for a few weeks, then you get rid. Until then, you hold. If he's just going to be missing one game, completely fine with benching him, because he's really good. And this is the thing, right? We've been talking Trent, Reece James, and Cancelo are on that top 3 for fullbacks. This is defenders sorted by expected goal involvement. These stats have been taken from Fantasy Football Scout and the members area from there. Followed by new upcoming Spurs player, Reguilon. He's on there. Obviously, he took his goal. Although I still am not really convinced because big chances created, 0. Bonus points, that doesn't matter. Chances created, only 4 compared to like the rest in terms of Reece James and Trent, who are really high up there. So I'm not really convinced by Reguilon, but he is in this list, but I'm not too convinced about him. Like, I think Spurs have to. Spurs compared to the other teams like the Chelseas, the Cities, and Liverpools, they need to kind of like show that they can keep clean sheets because the other teams have shown that they can keep clean sheets. Spurs, on the other hand, I need to see whether they can keep clean sheets or not. Rudiger is there. If anyone is looking for a side swap, I probably wouldn't go for Rudiger. If you wanted, if Chilwell is going to be out for some time, then I don't mind taking a punt on Reguilon. Obviously, I told you right now that it's not looking like I'm not convinced by Spurs defense, but if you want to take a punt, you could. Someone else you could possibly take a punt on is Lamptey for Brighton. He's looked pretty good. Now, the question is, will he play a lot? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But Lamptey is not a bad shout. And Brighton, obviously, where are they on the fixture ticker? Okay, they're at the bottom, but it's Leeds, West Ham tough, Tottenham tough. So they have every other game is a tough game for them. So maybe not, but Lamptey could be an option as like those, if you want to rotate between those games. Apart from that, I don't really see anyone else. Obviously, a lot of people have Livramento already. Nuno Tavares, I probably wouldn't look at because they have Tomiyasu as well. So no, won't look at that. Matt Target under Aston Villa. Aston Villa's run isn't that great. Man City, Leicester, Liverpool in the next 5. So I'll probably wait on that. I think you get some time to see in terms of Brendan Rodgers and what he's implementing. So that's defenders. Have a look at who you want to get. Obviously, Reguilon isn't too bad a shout as well. Now, let's move on to the Antonio discussion. Shall we? So, Antonio, usually at the start, before when he was fit and firing and scoring, before game week 8, he was right on top of these charts. He was like at the top 3 of these charts. This is forwards only, but even for all the players, he was in those top 5. Now Antonio's stats have fallen off a cliff. His XGI has gone to 1.2. He's had only 1 big chance in the last 4 game weeks. And he's had only 5 chances created. Not too bad, but shots inside the box is only 5. And penalty touches is only 16. It's fallen off quite a bit compared to the likes of Benteke, who has 25. Josh King has 33. Oh my god, wow. Armstrong has 21. It's not looking good for Antonio. And 5 shots inside the box compared to like Cristiano Ronaldo. Look at him. He's had 11 shots inside the box. You want Antonio to be taking those chances. He doesn't seem to be getting those chances. He doesn't seem to be creating much. So it depends on what you want to do with Antonio. If you're going to, the question is, you'd ask yourself this: if you're going to downgrade Antonio, who are you going to bring in? Are you probably looking to bring in funds? Me personally, I'm going to tell you now, I kind of made the move for Antonio to Harry Kane. And the reason I did that was because first I could afford Harry Kane. The other thing is Harry Kane looks like he's going to get a price rise. Antonio looks like he's going to get a price fall. I bought him at 7.5. That means I'll sell him at 7.8. His price is 8.2 right now, right? So that's a 0.4 price difference right now. But if he's going to get a price fall, it'll go to 0.3. Harry Kane's going to get a price rise. So I'll get a 0.1 from there. So I'm effectively missing out on about 0.2. And I think looking at Antonio's fixtures and West Ham as well, I think you can wait until game week 18 possibly. Because Burnley probably easier fixture. Arsenal, I don't think so. Until game week 18, you could possibly wait before you bring in Antonio again. So that's 5 game weeks, I think, where I can go without Antonio. And I think I'll be fine. I hope. Touch wood. Let's see. We'll see. But even during that time, I think I could see one more price fall for him. So that kind of goes and tells me like, yeah, I'm possibly missing out only on 0.1 from Antonio from when I have sold him. So I'm not too worried about that. I think I can make that up. And the other reason I went for Kane is because I want to get in Cristiano Ronaldo. And if I can get a few price rises from Kane before I get Ronaldo in possibly in 16, then I'm happy with that because I've got a few price rises. Ronaldo doesn't seem like his price is increasing any moment soon. So as long as that remains the same, and if I get a few price rises from Kane, it'll be good. And then I'll just swap Kane for Ronaldo in 16. If Kane doesn't work out, I can if Kane doesn't work out, I can swap into Ronaldo in 16 or possibly even in 15. If Kane works out, okay, then I could possibly keep Kane till 17. I think Liverpool, Crystal Palace are tough teams. Southampton also a tough team. So these three teams are defensively are a bit better than the others. So I don't mind keeping Kane till like even 17, but I would want to target obviously that Norwich game. So I probably might do the switch. That's the plan. That's the plan that I've done to get Kane in. That's why I got Kane in for Antonio. Obviously Kane also, stats wise, not looking that great. He had only one chance in that game against Everton. So it's kind of different. Like, I think it'll work out. That's my plan. Let me know what you are thinking as well in the comments on who you're looking to get. I think you could possibly, again, it depends on what are you going to do with Antonio. Are you going to drop him for Kane? And then what are you going to do with Kane after? You could probably people will look at King right on top here, Josh King. One thing you want to consider is Watford have a lot of players who are going to be impacted by the African Cup of Nations that is coming soon. When that appears, most of Watford's team, especially in their attack, they won't be there. And that reduces the supply for Josh King. And then that makes him a bit of a, not a very attractive pick, especially given that Watford's fixtures aren't the best at the moment. Like Leicester, Chelsea, Man City in the next three, not that great. After that, Brentford, Burnley, Crystal Palace, Wolves. But if players are going to be going for AFCON as well, somewhere around that time, then Josh King isn't that great an option. So I probably wouldn't get Josh King, even though he's really high up here, but I probably wouldn't get him. Aubameyang is also on this list, but Arsenal's fixtures are a mixed bag. They have Newcastle United, Everton, Southampton, West Ham, Leeds, Norwich, Wolves, so easy. Man City, it's a bit of a up and down. I think if we have ESR, it's fine. Aubameyang, probably not. Ronaldo, I told you already that I'm looking to get him in for Norwich game. Callum Wilson could be someone you would want maybe in the short term, very, very short term. It's a short term move, and I usually don't encourage booking in a transfer, like getting a player and just booking a transfer again immediately. I usually don't encourage that, but if you wanted to do it, Norwich and Burnley, Arsenal, maybe he possibly doesn't score. He was a bit unlucky not to score in the last game, but Norwich and Burnley could be two fixtures that you're looking for, and then you probably swap Callum Wilson to maybe a Cristiano Ronaldo in game week 16. That could be something you do in the short term. Something I must mention is Antonio scored against City last season. I think both times he scored against City when he played City, so he could still score. Okay, don't rule him out from not scoring. That could very well happen. So what if we want to look for a few other West Ham options to cover Antonio? Or let's say we want to go without Antonio a little while. Who are the other options? Well, Bowen is right on top of there. He's at 2.22 XGI in the last 4 game weeks. He's had 2 big chances created, 2 big chances. Created 2 and 5 chances created. He's had 9 shots inside the box. He's had more shots inside the box than Antonio, and more penalty area touches as well than Antonio. So Bowen is like pretty active. And I think at 6.4 as well for a midfielder slot, a lot of people are looking to kind of like get rid of Mbeumo. I probably will give Mbeumo 1 more week before getting rid. Brentford are playing Everton. Everton are pretty bad defensively. So after that, you could probably look into getting rid of Mbeumo if you wanted to. And West Ham's fixtures are after that, it's Brighton, Chelsea, obviously a bit tougher, but Burnley, Arsenal, Norwich, Southampton, Watford, Crystal Palace, not too bad after that. So if you wanted to get rid of Mbeumo for Bowen to cover this and not Antonio not being there, not too bad, I would say. That could be a very viable option for anyone who's looking. Fornals is also there, but probably wouldn't look too much into Fornals. And Benrahma, maybe not, but I like Bowen a lot. He's another good pick. Antonio, If you have him and you want to keep him, that's completely fine. So that's Antonio. That's West Ham. I gave you an option as well if you wanted to like cover. I don't think Bowen will be able to cover Antonio. Maybe not, possibly not. But at least you can mitigate some of the points you might lose if Antonio decides to score by having Bowen in. Now, Phil Foden. Let's get into a discussion about Phil Foden. This is the top 20 players sorted by expected goal involvement. Doesn't look at positions. So you have forwards, midfielders, for defenders all in here. Josh King, as I told you before, as you saw before, he's on top of the charts, just behind Salah. Salah just behind him. Benteke as well. I told you Benteke. I think Benteke can nail down that spot, right? He's a really good option because Crystal Palace, and here's another one, right? You could replace Antonio. You could downgrade Antonio to Benteke, free up some funds to improve your bench. I think your bench is going to be vital over this Christmas period. We've already seen a few players missing out due to illness, due to COVID reasons. Your bench is going to be very important this Christmas period. Make sure you have a playing bench because you're going to need to call them at some time or the other. So make sure you have a playing bench. If you don't have a playing bench, you're going to regret it pretty badly, I would say. So make sure you have a playing bench. Again, Benteke could be an option. I don't know whether he's going to play or not. That's the only problem. Aubameyang, on the other hand, I've already told you about Aubameyang, and what I think about him. Trent, I think, in terms of FPL right now, I saw FPL Planner mention this on Twitter as well. So shout out to FPL Planner. He mentioned where right now you have Trent, Reece James, Cancelo, Salah, and Chilwell. Obviously before his injury, but I still think Chilwell. Those five are like your meta staple at this point, like your core players that you want first names on the team sheet kind of players. Then you have 6 other players where you can kind of like, so those 5 are like the template. And then the 6 other players are the players you look at in terms of trying to grow your rank. He said that if you can nail down about 2 or 3 players out of those 6, you're most likely going to get a green arrow. But if you don't have any of those 5 that I just mentioned, obviously now Chilwell can kind of go down, but if you didn't have any of those 5 before, and if you didn't nail those remaining 6 players you had, if you didn't nail those 2 or 3 players, then you're struggling to maintain a green arrow because of how highly owned those 5 are and how well those 5 are performing. That's why I think if you don't have Trent, he is very essential. If you have Chilwell and you don't have Trent and you're looking to get someone else, if you're looking for someone else to bring in, do the Chilwell to Trent swap. If you don't have Trent and you have Chilwell, and if Chilwell is going to be out for some time, because Trent is very essential over the upcoming fixtures for Liverpool, and he just keeps delivering in double digits as well. So for the price, Trent is basically a premium defender who gives you attacking returns. I can't see any reason why you wouldn't go for him. Trossard played really well for Brighton. Could be an option. I did include him in my wildcard squad as well last time. Have a look into that video if you wanted to. He could be a really good option for Brighton as well going forward. Someone else who's entered in this is Daniel James. Now, someone who I wouldn't have thought about speaking about, and I'm possibly not going to be speaking about because Leeds' fixtures aren't great. So probably wouldn't look at Daniel James. No, thank you. Now, there are 3 City players in here, and this topic was mainly about Foden. Now, Foden, as you can see, is 9th on this list of all players, top 20 sorted by expected goal involvement in the last 4 game weeks. Foden has had 6 chances created, 2 big chances in total, 10 shots inside the box, which is the 4th highest out of all players. Only Ronaldo, Benteke, Salah, and Josh King have had more. And he started the last 4 games as well with a 2.27 XGI. That's a pretty good return. In terms of numbers, that's pretty good underlying numbers. I've always said Foden did have chances in the last game to score. He was a bit unlucky again as well in the United game to have not had a goal. I think he could have had a chance at scoring. So I'm happy to keep Foden. Now, for those who don't have Foden and are not looking towards getting Foden, okay, who are your other options? In this top 20, you see Gundogan and Bernardo Silva. Now, this is me assuming you already have Cancelo, okay? If you don't have Cancelo, get Cancelo. But if you're looking for a Foden, if you have Foden and you're not interested in having Foden anymore and you want to get rid, or you want to like free up those funds from Foden to be able to boost your bench and you want to maybe get another City player, Gundogan and Bernardo Silva are good options. I would go for Gundogan as my first option and Bernardo Silva as second, mainly as you can see, both of them are on this list. Gundogan is above Bernardo Silva, and Gundogan, just from the eye test as well, has been getting into pretty good positions, and also shares set pieces with Foden, so he is a really good option as well for me. It's if you wanted to. So I wouldn't get rid of Foden, but if you wanted to get rid of Foden, he's a good option. Obviously, City options here. Again, I mentioned this is the last 4 game weeks. Joe Cancelo, if you haven't got him, look into getting him. Bernardo Silva, 21 touches in the penalty box. Foden only 22, just behind him. Obviously, Bernardo Silva has the most points out of those 3 midfielders, with Gundogan the least. But Gundogan recently has been looking good. If you want, you can still get Bernardo Silva. He has been playing regularly, so I wouldn't be too. I think you wouldn't see too many points differences between Bernardo and Gundogan. Obviously, almost the same, basically the same cost as well. And Bernardo Silva seems to be getting more inside that penalty area as well. Cancelo, again, if you haven't got Cancelo, please get Cancelo. Could be a good option, really good option. Do you want to do? I wouldn't recommend the Chilwell. If you have Trent, if you have James, if you have Cancelo, I wouldn't recommend Chilwell to Diaz. I probably wouldn't do that because we've seen that Diaz can be dropped as well. And to be honest, Cancelo also can get benched. It's very possible. The only reason he's been playing so many games is because he can play left back and right back. That's the one main reason. And City don't have a left back at the moment. Benjamin Mendy has been out, cast away from his recent antics. So Cancelo, that's one of the main reasons he's playing regularly recently, because he can play both of those positions. So we've spoken about Foden. I have Foden. I am not getting rid of Foden, but if you wanted a few options, Gundogan and Bernardo Silva are good options. We spoke about Antonio and West Ham and possible other West Ham coverage if you wanted to cover for Antonio if you don't have Antonio. We spoke about a few other forwards you could look at. We've also spoken about Ben Chilwell and his injury and what are the defenders you can possibly get. Let's look ahead now to Game Week 13. Now, this is something I've done on the captaincy video. Go have a look at the captaincy video for Game Week 13. I'll put that video up here as well, so you'll probably kind of like see it, the notification right about now. If you want, go check it out. You'll be able to see it at the end of the video as well. There should be a panel that takes you to that video. Now, the teams in red are the teams that are the bottom 4 of the table in terms of minutes per XG or minutes per XGC on the last 4 game weeks. Teams highlighted in green are top 4. So City have the best, City have one of the best attacks and defense, same as Chelsea. Teams in yellow are basically teams from 5 to 8. So like a team like West Ham United in that next bracket of best teams. So that's how I've kind of like done this. And the 1, 2, 3, 4 in the middle that you see is basically my captaincy options and who I like based on how I recommend it. Go watch the video for that. But this is just mainly a fixtures thing we're going to look at. And Arsenal against Newcastle, for those who have Smith Rowe, and you can start him this week. Obviously, Newcastle, really good option. Aubameyang could be a good option as well if you have him. Crystal Palace against Aston Villa. For those who have Gallagher against Aston Villa, could start him. The one thing I'll say is that these Aston Villa results do include a few other fixtures not under Steven Gerrard. So Aston Villa could improve a bit more compared to what they have. Although they did, when I watched the highlights, Aston Villa could have considered a few opportunities. So wouldn't be too surprised if Crystal Palace managed to get a goal. Liverpool, obviously, really good. They are really good. If you've been watching my captaincy videos before, you would have seen that Arsenal lost the last week were in that really good XGC, but Liverpool managed to put 4 past them. So I'm not surprised if Liverpool will be able to do it against Southampton as well. So I'm happy to have Salah and Trent up there. I wouldn't start Livramento Nope. Norwich against Wolves. Norwich look pretty bad. And for those who have Huang, he hasn't been getting the performances, but he was pretty involved in the play. When I was watching the highlights, I watched the extended highlights and he was pretty involved in the play. So I probably will start Huang as well, even though Wolves, in terms of their minutes per XG, haven't looked that great. I still would start him. If you have Jimenez, I would start Jimenez as well against Norwich. Brighton against Leeds. Questions about Rafinha. Is Rafinha fit? Is Rafinha injured? How long is he out for? I don't know. Actually don't know what's going to happen with Rafinha. At the present moment, I have him on my bench with Chilwell starting. But if Chilwell, this is the thing, right? If Chilwell is not going to be available for the upcoming game, but is available for the games after that, I'll bench him, probably start Rafinha and hope that Rafinha plays. But yeah, wouldn't expect too much. I think Brighton, Sanchez will be back as well, Robert Sanchez. Brighton probably might be able to keep a clean sheet against Leeds. Brentford against Everton. Now, Tony got a goal, and looked pretty good in the highlights that I was watching. He looked pretty good against Everton. Everton have been defensively bad. That's why they're in the bottom 4 for XGC in the last 4 game weeks. Because Brentford they're looking good. If you have Mbeumo, man, that guy has been hitting the post. He must be post Mbeumo at this point. But he's been hitting the post too many times. I still will give him one more week. Man, I bought in Mbeumo at the start from Game Week 1. I took him out, and the week I took him out, he scored. And now he's back in my team, and he hasn't done anything. Yeah, I'll let you guys know on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'll let you guys know when I'm getting rid of Mbeumo, so that if you guys want to get his points, then you know when to get his points once I get rid of him. But I will still keep him for this one game against Everton, which probably means he's not going to get any points now. But if you have Tony, I'll start Tony against Everton, because Everton look pretty bad. Would I double up? A Tony and Mbeumo against Everton? Now, that is a slightly different question, which is team dependent. If you have some very big players on your bench, I probably won't double up because I'll try to diversify risk. But if you didn't, then I don't mind doubling up against Everton. They have been poor defensively. They have lost a lot of players. Everton have lost a lot of players due to injury. So that's one of the main reasons they're pretty poor right now. So I would capitalize on that. And they are right now a team to target while they have all these injury problems and all of that. Burnley against Tottenham. Now, Burnley have been a bit attacking recently. Tottenham defensively, it shows that Tottenham have improved defensively, and I think Conte will continue to work on it, continue to improve Tottenham. We get to see in the Conference League as well. We'll see Tottenham how they do. Attacking wise, hardly much. They didn't offer much in the last game as well. Harry Kane, apart from that one chance, really didn't have much anything else from what I saw. Yeah, there isn't much of a hype. I've got Harry Kane in, but not really. It's he's not much of an option. I wouldn't say so. There isn't a need to get Tottenham players in. If you want, you can get Harry Kane in. But the reason I've told you already why I got Harry Kane in, so that I can swap him for Ronaldo later, and hopefully I get a few price rises in the meantime. But I wouldn't go captaining Harry Kane at all. Especially not over Salah. I wouldn't do that at this point. Leicester against Watford. Now, Watford have been looking attacking under Ranieri, and the stats are there to prove it. They scored 4 against United. At this point, I think anyone can score 4 against United. They're that bad defensively. But Leicester have been a bit shaky defensively, so wouldn't be surprised to see maybe Josh King get a goal, go get an attack in return. People have Vardy and are wondering what to do with Vardy. Watford will leave spaces at the back, and Leicester could exploit that. This may be a game where Vardy gets something back. This may be a game because Watford they are very attacking, but they will leave spaces at the back as well. So could be a game for Vardy. Man City versus West Ham United. Tough game. I've already told you Antonio scored last season twice against City in both fixtures. But City this season look really good attacking wise, defensively wise, pretty solid. kind of also puts me to go oh, West Ham are now going to get an upset. West Ham have been doing really well. West Ham have been performing really well. The one thing I'll say is because of European competition, City have an extra day of rest as well compared to West Ham. City could be a bit more kind of relaxed. The only thing is they're playing PSG, tough game obviously, yeah, but I think they'll be a bit more better than West Ham. Although if West Ham do score first, then it's a different ball game, because then we have seen City kind of struggle. Once they concede first, then they kind of struggle. So we'll see. It'll be a pretty interesting game actually to watch. Pretty interesting game. But I think City can keep a clean sheet for those who have Foden and Cancelo. I'll start him. Chelsea against United. Now, a lot of people have double Chelsea defense like me. Could use to exploit that. I'm definitely starting James. The question is on Chilwell. If Chilwell is a maybe, fitness test, blah, 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 and he's a 50-50 against United, then I probably still start Chilwell because I'll have Rafinha, and you'll see in my team upcoming next. But I'll probably still start Chilwell in that specific case. If he's going to be out for the game, then obviously play someone else. If he's out for a longer period than just one game, if he's out for if he misses 4 to 5 games, that's a huge amount. I would just get ready immediately. I've told you already, Trent could be an option. Reguilon, another option. Spurs defensive line is showing that they're improving, so it could be another option as well. Now, my team from Game Week 12, 75 points, quite up there. Unlucky, 3-3, didn't expect it. Livramento, the one player out of the entire defense not to deliver. Pretty sad about that. I mean, the rest of the team was pretty standard. Livramento and my midfield and forward line wasn't much at all. Salah, the only one, continues to deliver, but it's just that big at the back. That big at the back just continues to deliver, and that's the reason I got 75 points this week. Pretty good week. We have moved up a few more ranks in the overall rank. We're currently ranked 2,453. As I told you, I have got rid of Antonio for Harry Kane, so he'll slot in there. And I'll probably look into benching Livramento, probably starting Huang as well, so we'll see. That's what I'm thinking about right now, but the rest of the team might be similar. And possibly most likely captain Salah. Or definitely captain Salah. Price changes. Let's get into some price changes as we come towards almost the end of the podcast. Now, if you've been here all this time, please hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers before the new year, so do help us in getting to that goal. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It helps YouTube's algorithm as well for the channel to get discovered a bit more. Now, that's the wrong screen. Where is the price changes? There we go. Okay, there we go. Price changes. Now, Kane looked like he was going to go up in price today, but he didn't. Unfortunately, he's gone up down a bit more. Benteke looks like he's going up. Trent looks like going up. Gallagher, please stop rising in price. Please. I'm looking to get you as well, but keep rising in price. I wonder where Bowen is. I spoke about Bowen, but where is Bowen? 6.4. Doesn't seem like he's rising in price anytime soon. That's pretty good. Gallagher, why are you rising in price too much? Watkins, I think Watkins could be someone everyone needs to keep an eye on for the next few game weeks. Just monitor him, watch him. I think he could do well. In terms of price falls, we're looking at Zinchenko, nothing too big here. Lukaku seems to be going up a bit now. He was very close to a price fall. Apart from that, no one else. Yeah, nothing big, to be honest. Sancho had a goal scored. I wonder what Sancho is like right now. He's going up a bit, but 8.9. I wouldn't expect a rise anytime soon for him. So that's the price changes. Let's get into the combined team. Now, this was a penalty, not too great. 62 points. We captain Ronaldo, which not too bad of a decision. For the upcoming game week, we are thinking, not sure about Rafinha right now. Gonna bench him for the moment. Tomiyasu. What's the extent with Tomiyasu? Why did he get minutes played 90? Tomiyasu. I will start Tomiyasu for Livramento. The question now is between Chilwell and Mbeumo. Do I double up on Mbeumo? We obviously have a transfer to make as well. Let me first save this team. Let me captain Salah. Now, we do have transfer to make. I have to check with the panel team as well. So I'll let you guys know on Twitter as well who we actually end up going to captain. But that's the team. That's how it's looking like. We'll see how we go. But yeah, that's basically the teams of the panel team. That's what it's looking like right now. Thank you all for watching. And also, if you reach the end of the video, thank you for joining in. Thank you for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well. We really appreciate everyone who comments, everyone who supports the channel. Thank you all. You guys are all a really big help, and we're going to try our best to cover you as much as possible during this Christmas period as well. I wish you all a really good game week 13. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Ryan_MS28. You can follow me on Twitter. I'll be able to answer any questions on Twitter you want, any questions you want on Twitter. Make sure to follow me there. Thank you all, and I hope you have a good night, and good luck all for Game Week 13. Peace out.